Hi everybody, this is Pete from letterpressinc.com and Old City Press. Today, this is our second part of our series. We're going to go over, first part was letterpress paper. Our next part is letterpress ink. And, this is for new printers. So if you just got your new Kelsey or your new CP Pilot or Chandler Price and you're like, you got your paper, you got your machine, you got all kinds of elbow grease, you are like ready to go. And we want to go over ink. Right? So ink is one of those things that if you mess it up, you're going to be cleaning a lot off the machine. So just want to go over a few design considerations with that and just a general overview. So, all right, so letterpress ink. There's basically two kinds. There's an oil-based ink and there's a rubber-based ink. We are a big fan of rubber-based ink in our shop. And the reason why we like it and we think it's great for new printers is because it doesn't really dry. It just kind of tacks up. Right? So that means that if you're working on a machine, if we're doing a long run, say I'm doing like a 500 prints, right? And I need to do that overnight. I can stop printing at 6 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night and come back at 8 o'clock in the morning and start printing again. The ink will have tacked up a little bit, but it won't have dried overall. So for that reason, we're a big fan of it. Or if I have multiple orders of print in a row that are, say, all black, I can do that, right? I can do that for multiple days. I can leave the ink on the machine for multiple days at a time without really freaking out about it. So that's why we're a big fan of rubber-based ink. There's also oil-based ink, and for us, the ink we carry, oil-based, are metallic and neon, right? And they have certain pigments in them that require, like Dayglow, that requires them to be oil-based ink. It still looks beautiful. It works perfectly. The difference being, though, when you print with oil-based ink, you need to kind of allot that time. So you need a lot of time to set up, to print, to fix any kind of errors, to set up again, and to print, and then to clean up. You can't say, walk away and go to lunch for an hour and a half and come back and think you're going to start working like you were an hour and a half ago. The ink will probably dry up on you. It may still be tacky a little bit at that point, but it's going to be dry. So the difference being that when you think of oil-based ink, it dries and you have to actually scrub it off the machine, right? We like it. There's a lot of uses for oil-based ink, especially if you're using it on like an uncoated paper, right? So if you're using it on like a coated paper, then oil-based ink is your really only option at that point, right? You wouldn't want to print with a rubber-based ink on a coated paper because rubber-based ink absorbs into uncoated paper. So if you're using a coated paper, it's just going to sit on top, right? I mean, it should dry, could take weeks, months, right? But, for these purposes, if you're starting out, these are important things to remember. So, okay. And there's two different kinds, right? So we sell ink in the can and by the tube, right? 1 pound can and it's a 1/4 pound tube. A 1 pound can of ink, depending on how many prints you're doing, depending on how much coverage area you're doing, you're gonna get at least 1,000 prints out of a 1 pound can, right? So if you have a small Kelsey press and you have a CP Pilot and you're doing some greeting cards, or you're trying to do some wedding invitations, right? This 1 pound can is probably overkill for you, right? Which is why we love the 1/4 pound tubes for that. And the reason why is because for about the same price, you can get, 2 tubes. So you can have 2 different colors overall. And we actually sell like a small mini bundle on this too, because then it gives you like the 6 colors and you can mix them together overall. So something just to keep in mind, right? So, a lot of clients will come to us and say like, 1 pound tube, is this going to do 100 invitations? And I'm like, this is going to do 1,000 invitations, right? So just keep that in mind. Overall when you're looking for it. The third thing is ink is transparent. Rubber-based ink is transparent, which means that if you have yellow and you have blue and they touch, where they touch, they will make green. So that's something to keep in mind too, right? That when they touch, they'll change colors overall. It's a cool design thing. It's one of these things that, the only time you really understand is when you start playing with it and doing it right overall. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind with along ink line too. So, okay, cool. That's really it when it comes to ink. So just to recap, rubber-based, tacks up, doesn't dry. It's good for starting it out because you can leave it on a machine, you can test, you can walk away with your frustrations and then come back, right? Overall. Oil-based ink, for the metallic line, for the neon line, it's a great ink. However, it does dry up, so you need to allot that time. And for starting out, if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to spend 2 hours working on this machine and you're using oil-based ink, I would double that. I would assume you're going to spend 4 hours on there, just starting out at least. So, okay, great. Yeah, if you have any questions, please let us know. You can drop them in the comments on YouTube. You can send us an email. If you have any other videos you suggest, let us know. Well, happy printing. Thank you.